We know that working in the heat can challenge our ability to thermoregulate, but what if we have to work on back-to-back days in hot weather? Is there an added risk? In today's episode, we'll take a look at whether a simulated firefighting training task gets firefighters hotter on the second day than on the first, and whether that might impair actual firefighter task performance. Firefighting is an incredibly demanding job, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Beyond fire itself, another challenge is the added weight from all of the protective gear, which can be more than 25 kilograms, and that's apart from any actual tools or fire hoses. This means that doing the same amount of work requires a lot more energy to move the extra weight, which also means that more heat is being generated. Worse yet, the clothing that is designed to protect you from fire makes it very hard to get rid of heat. This makes for a high risk of hyperthermia and heat illness in firefighters. But firefighting isn't just a one-time activity. You may be called to many fires over the course of a 24-hour shift, and most firefighters are scheduled to work over multiple consecutive days. Are there higher risk of hyperthermia with repeated fire calls? To test this, Schlader 2017 had trained firefighters perform the same fire simulation on 2 consecutive days. Each day involved a live fire evolution inside a training burn house with a floor temperature over 300 degrees Celsius. The firefighters had to haul hoses up to the second floor, then perform fire suppression and ventilation of that room for either 20 minutes or until the air supply ran low. They then had 20 minutes of recovery outside, where they cooled themselves by putting their forearms in the cool water and had half a liter of cold water to drink. Afterwards, they put their fire protective gear and breathing systems back on again and were timed over a firefighting skill test involving 3 different tasks, hauling hoses along with a 15-meter drag of a 50-kilogram dummy. On the left graph, we see the average increase in heart rate during the live fire evolution on day 1 and day 2. Overall, the work was extremely demanding, raising heart rate to 90% of maximum or greater. But there was no difference between the 2 days. On the right, we see the graph for core temperature increase. Here, we see an increase of 0.7 degrees Celsius over day 1, but the increase was much greater at 1.1 degrees Celsius on day 2. Importantly, the firefighters arrived for day 2 apparently completely recovered, with normal heart rates, blood pressure, core temperatures, and hydration status. So these changes did not seem to be from a lack of physical recovery between days. Further, firefighters felt hotter and also felt that the work was harder on day 2 compared to day 1. In contrast, performance time on the firefighter skill test did not change between days. What can we learn from this study? The big message seems to be that, even though firefighters came to day 2 apparently perfectly normal and recovered, they were actually not able to thermoregulate as well and could be at greater risk for hyperthermia and heat illness. This has important occupational implications. First, educating firefighters and supervisors of this potential risk is critical. Then, there needs to be a greater emphasis on recovery in firefighters. Over the course of a single fire call with multiple bottle changes, but also over the course of several shifts over consecutive days that a firefighter is typically scheduled for. Finally, these schedules themselves might need to be altered to accommodate a higher heat risk. I hope that this video gives you extra appreciation for the extreme occupation of firefighting. I'm Professor Stephen Chung, and I run the Environmental Ergonomics Lab in the Department of Kinesiology at Brock University. We post new videos on different topics in environmental physiology every Wednesday. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.